Maybe you're not too loud, not too emotional, not too sensitive, not too ambitious, not too expressive, not too deep, not too intense. Maybe you're just surrounded by people who benefit from your silence, people who feel more comfortable when you shrink, people who like the version of you that apologizes for existing, people who only accept you when you become easier to digest. And somewhere along the way, you started believing them. You started editing yourself, filtering your thoughts, swallowing your opinions, holding back your laughter, softening your ambition, downplaying your emotions, pretending not to care, pretending not to know, pretending not to feel, all to avoid hearing those words again. You're too much. And if we're being honest, those 3 words have probably done more damage than people realize. Because too much doesn't just sting, it plants a seed of self-doubt, a seed that grows into overthinking, into people-pleasing, into silence, into self-abandonment. You start asking yourself, am I too loud? Am I too emotional? Am I too needy? Am I too opinionated? Am I too dramatic? And now, you're not living. You're performing the version of yourself that gets accepted. Let's talk about where this starts. Because most people don't just wake up one day and believe they're too much. Someone taught them. Maybe it was your parents. Every time you cried, stop being dramatic. Every time you got excited, calm down. Every time you asked questions, that's enough. Every time you expressed emotion, you're too sensitive. So you learned? Your feelings were inconvenient. Your excitement was annoying. Your voice was disruptive. And children internalize everything. A child doesn't think, my parent is emotionally unavailable. The child thinks, I am too much. That belief follows you into adulthood. Now you're in relationships, accepting crumbs, because asking for more feels too needy. Now you're in friendships, pretending things don't hurt, because expressing hurt feels too emotional. Now you're at work, staying quiet in meetings, because speaking up feels too opinionated. And slowly, you disappear. Let's be brutally honest. A lot of people call you too much, when what they really mean is, you make me uncomfortable. Your confidence exposes their insecurity. Your standards expose their laziness. Your honesty exposes their lies. Your ambition exposes their stagnation. Your emotional intelligence exposes their emotional immaturity. So, instead of rising, they label you, because labels are easier than self-improvement. Think about it. Have you ever noticed? The same thing one person criticizes, another person celebrates. One person says, you talk too much. Another says, I love how expressive you are. One says, you're too emotional. Another says, I love how deeply you care. One says, you're intimidating. Another says, you inspire me. Same you, different room. That should tell you everything. The wrong people will make your magic feel like a burden. The right people will make it feel like a gift. Let's talk relationships, because this is where people shrink the most. You ask for consistency. They say you're demanding. You ask for reassurance. They say you're needy. You ask for honesty. They say you're starting drama. No, you're not asking for too much. You're asking the wrong person. Read that again. Sometimes your standards only sound unreasonable to people who never plan to meet them. And because you want love, you start negotiating with your own needs. You say things like, it's okay, no worries, I understand. When you don't, you settle, then resent them for what you allowed. Now let's talk friendships. Some friends only like the low-maintenance version of you, the funny version, the helpful version, the available version. The moment you need support, you become too much. The moment you speak up, you become difficult. The moment you set boundaries, you changed. No, you didn't change. You stopped being convenient. And convenience is not friendship. Now, work environments. You have ideas. You speak up. You challenge nonsense. You ask questions. Suddenly, you're too assertive, too opinionated, too intense. Funny how confidence in some people is called leadership, and in others, it's called too much. Especially if you're a woman. Especially if you're outspoken. Especially if you're different. People love confidence until it doesn't submit. Now let's talk about what believing too much does to you. It makes you shrink. You lower your voice. You stop posting. You stop creating. You stop sharing ideas. You stop asking questions. You stop taking space. You become smaller to make insecure people comfortable. And the saddest part, they still won't love you. Because shrinking doesn't create belonging, it creates emptiness. You'll sit in rooms where everyone accepts you and still feel lonely because they're accepting a version of you that isn't real. That loneliness is brutal. Being unseen while being surrounded by people hurts differently. Now, here's the shift, the truth that changes everything. You are not too much. You are too much. For people committed to misunderstanding you, too much. For emotionally unavailable people, too much. For insecure people, too much. For shallow people, too much. For people who require you to shrink, to feel powerful. But for the right people, you are peace. You are light. You are depth. You are laughter. You are inspiration. You are home. The right people won't ask you to become less. They'll make room for more of you. So stop editing yourself for people who were never meant to understand you. Stop dimming your light for people who are committed to darkness. Stop apologizing for your depth, your ambition, your emotions, your standards, your voice, your existence. You were never too much. You were pouring into cups too small to hold you. And once you find bigger cups, you'll realize you were never the problem. You were just in the wrong room. Stay sharp. Yours, brutally.